Look, you have probably heard it, or maybe you've even felt it yourself that reselling is dead. Selling on eBay is dead. I've heard sales are down and that thrift stores are overpriced and that nobody is buying anything anymore on these sites like eBay and Poshmark and Mercari. But let me tell you something. Okay, let me tell you something that's real. Let me tell you the truth. Okay, reselling isn't dead. It's just different. Okay, reselling is far, far from dead. Okay, what's up, YouTube? My name is Jacob. I'm a full-time online reseller. I sell on sites like eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and I have owned my reselling business for almost a decade now. It's a multi-six-figure reselling business, and look, I've seen it all. I've been in this business a long time now, and I've seen things shift over and over again. And right now, yeah. Okay, things might be a little tougher in some areas, but you know what? This business and this industry is also smarter, it's leaner, it's more professional, and it's still super possible. And there is a ton of opportunity out there right now. So in today's video, I want to break down some of these complaints I've been hearing. And you know what? There is merit to complaints, but a lot of times they're only half true. Okay, so let's start this video off with a little pessimism, then we'll get into some optimism. So what have people been saying, about the reselling industry? One of the big ones that I've been hearing is fees are up, on sites like eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and that's true across the board. The past few years, they've changed up the structure of a lot of these fee systems, and yeah, they are up. And I get that, and I resonate with that as well. Another big one I've been hearing is good inventory is hard to source now. I get it, I see it, but you know what? I have sourced some of the best inventory in my life, even though I believe there's a little truth to that, okay? Another big one is, with automation and tools and the cross-listing, it's so easy for people to saturate the market. I get it, I hear your complaints, and I resonate with them as well. One of the other big ones is that, it just... everything has to be perfect. The item has to be perfect. The listing has to be perfect. The shipping has to be lightning fast. It has to be faster than Amazon for you to compete. And yeah, I get it. Sometimes I can understand why some people feel like they're just listing into this endless void. But, here's the thing that most people forget, okay? And I love to study classic business principles and industry and book. Look, this happens in every industry that matures, okay? Reselling used to be this thing that people would do as a side hustle. And look, that's how I started. It felt like I was striking gold. It was easy, but look, now it's a real industry and you can build real businesses out of it. And that is not a bad thing. It's far from a bad thing. It's different than what it used to be, but it's a great opportunity. What used to be something that was solely a side hustle, you can build a full-time business that can support people and your family. It's an amazing opportunity. So let me tell you what still works and, some of the optimism behind these complaints, okay? People still love a deal, okay? Especially right now when across the board, money's tight for most people. I get it, okay? People still love shopping secondhand, vintage, discounted items. And when people look for a deal, there's going to be an opportunity for businesses like mine and for businesses like yours. And platforms like eBay and Poshmark and Mercari, they still do millions of transactions every single day. Look, back in the day, you'd have to own a flea market or a thrift shop or have garage sales to do what we can do on the internet now. It is insane, the opportunity that is out there. What is really dead, in my opinion, is lazy reselling, okay? Randomly listing, using bad photos, having no customer service strategy, having no strategy at all. Look, if that is your game plan, then yeah, it's gonna feel dead. And it probably should, because lazy reselling is not a business. If you treat your reselling operation like a business, then it's gonna reward you, literally. But if you don't adapt, look, if you don't treat this thing like a business, then yeah, it's going to feel dead. It's going to feel dead. But if you do those things, then you will thrive. Okay, so what's kind of happening right now with my business? What's working right now? Some real tips and just some kind of behind the scenes stuff. A few things that I found that really work today are especially, you can get to a point where where your business is kind of across the board, but niching down, especially right if you're struggling, niching down is great. You know, don't try to sell everything right away. Maybe get known for something, you know, whether it's vintage clothing or jackets or sneakers or women's clothing or, you know, whatever. I used to be solely vintage, and then it was a lot of jackets, and now it's kind of everything. But if you niche down, build from there, you know, build trust in your niche, keep that as the foundation and build from there until you can kind of have everything. More like my business, you know, it used to be niche, but now it's everything. Okay. Just treat your, eBay, you know, treat Poshmark, treat it like a business, you know, start batching work, start creating workflow, start creating systems for your business. Look, doing all those things will save your sanity, it'll save your time, and it'll also save you money and make you more money in the long term. This can be a tough one for a lot of people, but keeping up with kind of, I hate to use the word algorithms, but keeping up with the algorithms, you know, I know a big one right now is using the sell similar button on eBay as opposed to relisting. You know, just keeping up with that stuff can really help with your business. Also keeping up with comps, just like having kind of a pulse on the market of what things are selling for, so you can make smart pricing strategies and smart buying decisions. So you can keep your business lean, keep the margins good. And overall, just keeping your business kind of clean and clear, keeping things tidy, keeping your listings tidy, keeping it professional across the board. I guess that's the ethos of today's video. We are turning into a professional industry, and we are creating professional businesses. So what I'm seeing with my business, you know, right now I got over 10,000 items. I generally have over 10,000 items of inventory for sale. I believe it's somewhere between, if I can see that, 14,500 items roughly right now. Some weeks, you know, it's crazy because some weeks, you know, I'll feel like this is going to be a great week of sales because of, you know, what I've been doing. And that week will feel slow. But then some weeks literally blow me out of the water, like surprise me with how good of a week it is. But look, sales have been better than they have ever been for my business. And they've been super consistent, and they just have been on the increase. And look, I'm faster now. I'm more focused. I'm more intentional. And my business has flourished into a full-grown professional reselling operation. And look, I'm not chasing, you know, a lot of trends. I'm sticking to what I know, and I just keep refining that. So stick to what you know and keep refining it from there until you have a solid foundation, and then just add layers on top of that. You know, kind of lay a brick as perfectly as you can before you lay another one on top of that. And when you do lay that next brick, make it as perfect as possible. So couple thoughts, I guess, on this, you know, reselling is dead. What I've been hearing, you know, look, I do not believe reselling is dead. It's just evolving. And like anything in life, you have to evolve with it. You know, we live in a society that is constantly evolving. It's no longer just, you know, going to the thrift store after work, finding a few things and flipping them and just, you know, making a couple extra $100 on the weekend. It's about running a real business, you know, that stays nimble and keeps, you know, just keeping your head clear when things shift. That's kind of the ethos of everything. Just keep evolving, keep adapting. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling discouraged in any means, I get it. Okay. I've been in those places. I've been there most of my life. It seems like, but I promise you, this business still works. And if you do those things and you treat it like a business, it will work for you as well. So I'm kind of curious, like, what has changed the most in your reselling business this year? You know, I'd love to hear those things in the comment, because the more I can learn from everybody out there, the more I can hopefully provide on YouTube. I mean, that's the whole ethos of this channel. I just want to provide value, information. I want people to learn from my experiences and what I've done. Look, I'm far from perfect, but I have built a full-time online reselling business from the ground up, and started from nothing, all that stuff. Had nothing for a long time. So look, these videos are for you guys. My goal is to just help the world, and I believe that the world will help me in return. So if I did any of that, feel free to drop a like, subscription. Let me know how your business is doing. I just want to help as many people as I can. So more real talk, more strategies, more good videos coming soon. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.